Hello everyone, welcome, and today is day 5, and what we will do is we will actually go through some other components of Windows Server 2019 before we actually start the real work. So today we will go through services. So one of the important components for Windows Server, not only Windows Server, all Windows, if it's Windows 10, Windows XP, Windows 7, any Windows operating system that we use today, they have services. So those services are actually important component of operating system. Let's just say that we have this server as a file server. So file server will have file services. If this server is an email server, we will have email services. So those services are really important part of Windows operating system. All right. So let's just say that Zia is working somewhere, and Zia receives a call saying that, hey Zia, we cannot send and receive emails. So Zia will do what? Zia will now come to the email server, and one of the troubleshootings that he can do is he can always check for email services, if they are running, if they are disabled, if they are stopped. So services is very important component. Every feature that we have in Windows, they have services. Anything that we have in the Windows Server, they have services. For example, for this network, we have services, right? For anything else, we have services. So how do we access services? If I click on Start and I type service, you see it basically shows up in here. So you simply type services and it will show up. So I will click on services, and once I click there, you can see that it brings up this window for me, and this window is basically what? All different services that we have. You can see I have a lot of different services. For example, DNS client, right? DNS client, DHCP, right? Let's just say that this computer is not obtaining IP address. What you can do is you can come here, and if it's not running, you can run it. So most of the times these services can be stopped. So if I click on stop, you can see that it is telling me, are you sure you want to stop it? Access denied. I cannot. So you can basically stop them. You can restart them if you want. Press yes and you can restart. Right now I am not having any access to it. That's why, because of some logon problems. But these services are part of Windows Server, Windows 10, or any other. For example, printer, print spooler services. So this is another one. Sometimes if you are having problems with the printer, you have been printing a lot of paper, the printer is no longer able to print because there are many printing jobs, you can always come and restart this. Remote desktop services. So right now it is stopped. If I try to remote this machine, I might not be able to because it is not running. Right? So these are different services that we have for Windows, and we always have to work with them. So if I let's just do one thing. If I simply try to work with one of the services here, DHCP client, for example, right? DHCP client, if I double click on it, you can see now I have the properties for DHCP client. On a very first tab, I have general, right? On general, the very first thing that you will see is service name. Service name, it shows you the name of the service. So if someone asks you what is the service name for DHCP, you can give them the name of the service, which is what? DHCP. And you can see it has the display name, which is DHCP client, description, also the path. the path to this DHCP client file. You can see I have 1, 2, 3, 4 options. If I set my service to automatic, automatic means that every time when I restart my computer, this service should also be started. If I set it to manual, every time I restart my computer, I have to come on the services and start it when I set to manual. And then I have disabled. If I click disabled, it means I am completely disabling this service. When do you disable the service? When you don't need it, or if it's conflicting with other services. Correct? That's the time when you need what? When you need to disable. Correct? If I click on logon, we basically don't touch these settings. Do not touch these settings if they are like local services. But sometimes if you have a user account, we call it service account. If you have a service account that have enough permissions, you can always put that with the username password to start the services. Correct? When I come to recovery, this is where the troubleshooting comes. Most of the times what will happen is that one of these services will not work. You try to start them and then you come again, stopped. You start them, it's stopped, right? You start the service, automatically it stops. Why? Because that service actually have problem. So whenever you have problem with the services, for example the DHCP services starting, stopping, starting, stopping, these are some options that you can use. You can say what should happen if it fails for the first time. Restart the service. Let's just say that the service fails, restart. Second failure, restart the service. Restart the computer. Even you can restart the computer. Let's just say that we say on first failure, restart the service. If it fails again, run a program. In here you can create a script. You can create a script and then have that script run. Depends. A lot of people in production, they actually use it because they may have like some applications running that may require them. So you can say run this program. For example, I don't know if I have any file, but you can basically do what? You can basically run a batch file. So you can run exefile.com or batch file. So batch files are like a script. Second, you say if it fails again, restart the computer. Reset fail count after 1 day. It should reset the fail count after 1 day. Restart service after 2 minutes, right? And then you can restart computer option, restart computer after 1 minute. And before you restart, send this message to others who are actually logged in to this machine. So these are different options that you can use. Correct? Yeah. So that's how you can do it. That's how you can actually troubleshoot a service itself. But most of the time, if you repair your application, it will basically fix the problem. Because when the application is repaired, it also repairs the service.